Now you can support your head in several ways. Just have a look. You can support your head onto some bricks or a pile of foam pads. Take your feet a little bit further. Now you can see I've got my hands on these bricks. Now this could be on a chair as well. So when you are in this position, see that you are lifting the buttocks up. So you're pushing down, and then take the other hand on top. This again can be on a chair. Push down. So it's almost like you're really pushing down to then lift the buttocks up even more. And then we keep that lift, keep that broadness, keep that connection. And we can take our head a little bit further down if it will go. Otherwise, stack up a little bit more, no problem with that. And then just rest in the forehead. Now you might find that you don't need as much, or you may find that you need more. So make those decisions. See where you are with this. So continue to keep this action. And just be there. Find your support and just be there. The spine does ascend, but it doesn't drop down. So just be there for a little bit longer. See where you are with this. Those of you with tight hamstrings, you know, you need to be in these for long stays, as well as getting movement as well. We have to see that we have all different directions in our practice, all different directions. So see that the outer foot bones are working very strongly. There's a lift of the inner ankle, pull up of the kneecaps, and opening and broadening of the back thigh. Very important. All right, now taking a breath in and releasing and coming up. So just have a look now. So we're coming to the very end of the mat. You can see I've got plenty of space behind me. Right, I'm going to extend the arms up. Just watch the screen for a moment. So we come for an Utkatasana, but my feet are slightly apart. Now I want to get Adho, Mukha, Virasana in this action. So those of you on the chair will really understand this action. You've got to push back as if you're sitting on that chair. Push back until the back becomes flat. Until the back becomes flat. And then we extend and reach to the floor. That's a really strong action. So you may need to practice this several times. Now, once we get there, it may be that you do need to have your bricks underneath your hands, but once we get there, we look forward and then step the back leg back. So let's step the back leg back into this Parsvottanasana action. Now before I straighten that leg, so let me do this side. So before I straighten this leg into Parsvottanasana, I'm in this bent leg action. So what I want to do is to see what's happening with the back foot and press down with the little toe side of the back foot very strongly and wait. Now what we want to do is to really get this Utkatasana action, Virasana action, pushing back, but without straightening the leg. So you want to see that you're not using the knee in any way. And if you're finding this challenging, of course, you can put your hands onto a couple of bricks like this. And then we've got to see, can we open the outer hip? So to open the outer hip, we've got to pull it back so much, but not use the knee. So that means to say the body groins have got to lift up into the body. And we come into this straight leg position. Now it may be some of you are finding this a real struggle, and then we go a bit higher. So that's when we realize that our body needs to work, is when we sometimes approach poses in a different way. So quite often we come from a standing position into Parsvottanasana. So hopefully you're having a go at this now. Be sure that you're getting some movement in that outer hip. Just hold it for a moment and be sure that this back heel, this back foot, this back toe pad of the little toe goes down very strongly. So you get all of that action. And now what you have to do is really ground into the soles of the feet and look forward. Now some of you will be able to come a little bit further. Now we're in this position, you'll be able to go a little bit further. You may even be able to take your hands to the floor, like this. But you cannot move the back down until you move more back and more open in your back body. So you have a bit of a job on your hands. You've got to really lift off of your legs and get that rotation. So it's a very, very strong action. So see if you can go a little bit further. Be sensible with this so that you are in it and you're taking your time to straighten that leg and to get that length in the body. This takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice. So don't give up on that action. So now you're going to step the back leg back in to Uttanasana. Still feet a little bit apart and see where your Uttanasana is now. So all your favourite poses, if your hamstrings are tight, you're not going to like these at all. So see that this area is really nice and open. Okay, you've guessed it. So we're going to step back now with the other leg moving back. So when you move back with the other leg, again, there may be a lightness on the outer foot bone. We've got to make sure it's not light and it's strongly planted. This outer hip is pulling back and then we hold on to the bricks. And then we see, can you get that action of lengthening, extending, opening, and just slowly pulling back with the outer hip without using the legs. So those of you with hyperextension, you really need to pull back those outer hips very strongly. So remember, take your time with this. It may be that the leg's not quite straight yet. You have another go at it. So when you come forward, you don't drop the back now. You've got to see that you get even more action. You may need to extend here like this and push back. Push into the back body. Yeah, you've got to, your spine ends right at the end of the buttock. So coming into the action eventually, if you can. If not, stay on your bricks. That's no problem either. Okay, have a go. Hopefully you're in the process of being in this action. Very, very nice to get these legs working very strongly. You may feel it's a bit like a toothache at the moment, but it's a strong action and it is really worth getting because all this working through these layers of thickness and stiffness is well worth it. It's a good investment. All right, so bring the back leg to the front leg and come into your Uttanasana again. Uttanasana. Uttanasana. Be in this position. All right, so we're going to now take the back leg back again. Back leg back. So again, soft leg. So this soft leg, so have a look at the screen for a moment. So keep this back leg working back and remember that little toe has got to go down. You don't want to see that that goes up like that. It does want to. Now if that's the case and the legs are not cooperating, then you put a little bit of support underneath the heel if need be. So see that you're in this position. See that there's plenty of space and opening. You've got to see that these creases now, these front creases have got very nice, long, broad grins. So they're grinning. They're grinning at the ceiling. So they've got to grin, not grimace. So we've got to undo the grimace of the rim of the thigh and then still keep that action moving back very strongly. All right. So when we're in this position, you've got to see that you pull back again, pull back again, pull back again, pull back again. like this. So we're keeping this action, we're keeping this height here. Now it changes slightly because you can see that I've got the brick now to where the foot isn't. So I'm going to see that I start to still keep that lift and pulling back, lifting and pulling back, lifting and pulling back so strongly. So we get this rotation. So we were working on a lot of rotations last time. So this is even more rotation, but really strong actions. But it comes from your understanding of Parsvottanasana. All right, let's have a go then. If you haven't already, stepped back with that left foot, stretch it back. Now be sure that that little toe is down. That little toe is down really strongly. And then once we get that little toe down of that back foot, we can work on that front leg. So see, are you now pulling strongly with that outer hip till the leg becomes straight? So it really is cranking all those tight fibers. You got to move them, untie them, brush them, comb them, get them moving, dethaw them so they get moving. Now once that front leg becomes straight, you keep your hand on your left brick. So when you are turning, you've got to see that you keep that left hand down and then start to turn towards your right side, towards your right side. Go and get that turn in action. Get that turn in action so much. So you keep that left hand down and see how much you can deepen the action of your right root of the thigh and cut back even more with the outer hip. So these two actions are really important. They go hand in hand. So don't worry about taking the top arm up if it's just too much. But if you are able to get that complete turn, then do so. All right, and then bring the back leg back at Uttanasana. You've guessed it, Uttanasana, Uttanasana. So we go back now, other side. So you've got to see, just have a look at the screen, I'll show you a different angle now. So you've got to see that this leg, the back foot is working strongly. This outer hip is just slowly unfolding. You've got to see that with this foot, you're grounding very strongly into these points. This inner heel, this ball of the foot, the little toe side, everything's got to be working to get that really nice action. So if you're using the brick, then we have to see there is a connection, pulling back and deepening, pulling back and deepening. So you don't get the rotation until you get those actions. And then you get that connection. Then you get that connection with the body. So keeping that connection, keeping that understanding, keeping that awareness, keeping that rotation. Okay, well done. Strong work, strong work. Take your time with it. Practice this several times. You can pause them and then you can start them and then you can do them again. Or just an aspect of the action. All right, bring that back leg to the front leg, Uttanasana, Uttanasana, Uttanasana. Be in this position. Uttanasana. Feet a little bit apart. Okay, just watch the screen for a moment. So we're going to take the back leg back in this way. All right, so we're going to get this really nice action of pulling back. We've done quite a bit of that so far. Now you've got to imagine that there's a rope pulling the crease back. So you've got to keep that crease pulling back and then launch up. Now, I purposely haven't just come from a straight leg action. I want to see that I get the same actions in this position, pulling back and the deepening of the crease. And then the leg comes into this action. So don't worry, if you need to have the bricks, they're there. Keeping that connection. Keeping that awareness, keeping that connection. Keeping the hips as level as you can, pushing back strongly. Okay, and then you come back into this action. Back. So your leg is now bent and it's had quite a lot of work on this action. All right, and then we step in again, Uttanasana, Uttanasana. Okay, we're ready for this? All right, so your turn if you haven't already started. Now take your hands down nicely onto the bricks. Well done. Or to the floor, whatever you're doing. Step back with your left leg. Step back with your left leg. So your right leg is getting that really nice manipulation. Keep it bent slightly. Keep that hip working. Deep, 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 deep action. So you've got to remember that this side now, just in case you've forgotten, you've got to see that this is deep, this is pulling back, but also the crease is grinning. And then we rock forward a little bit. Lift up, lift up. And now don't straighten your leg yet. Same actions. You've got to deepen the creases. Pushing that back leg back really strongly. Come on, push it as if it's got to reach to a wall. It's not quite there. Push the back leg back. And then get that action. Get that awareness. Yes, and then back. So you see that there's quite a lot involved with this. It really is about manipulation of the leg. Such a strong, strong action. All right, so we come to the other side now. So taking your right leg back, take your right leg back nicely. See if you can get that action. Go on, push back really nicely. Remember the little toe side. The little toe side's got to press down very firmly. And now that front leg is bent. So now we see that the left leg is bent. And now you've got to deepen the action of the crease even more, even more, even more, even more. Okay, now launch a little bit forward and lift the back leg up without straightening that front leg. Do not straighten that front leg. This is a method of working. Either on the bricks with the hands or on the floor. Lift that back leg up and really see that you push back very, very strongly with that back leg. So push the back leg and deepen the crease of the front and pull the outer hip of the front leg back. Deepen the action of the back leg. Push it as if you're really near to a wall. You want to be near to the wall. And you eventually straighten as much as possible that front leg. And push back. Be in that position. Lengthen the whole of the front body towards the front edge of the mat. Keep there and breathe. Soft inhale, exhale. All right, and then release in. Really well done. Uttanasana now. So make this Uttanasana a really nice, restful one, if that's at all possible. Keeping that lift, how we've been working, really getting this understanding of this outer hip area. It's really important. And then releasing down into your Uttanasana. So just stay there, be there, and just let the whole body release. Try to see that you equal the action of the legs to the releasing of the spine. All right, and now slowly releasing and coming up. So when you're in this position, you're going to see that you're extending forward in this way. So soft inhale, soft exhale, and reach reach in so much with those arms. So you've got to keep stable to the heel side. And if your buttocks are coming up, it really means to say that you need to get more opening in the back of the glutes and the lower back region. And just be there for a few moments. If the head's not hitting the floor, then of course you can have something to support the head. And you can also sit on something which actually will give you a bit more support. Better with a foam pad than a cork brick between the heels and the buttocks, but still very useful to use. So just be there for a few moments and feel that extension.